On this episode of the Ashes Report, we're taking a look at their summer crowdfunding campaign, which is currently going on via their website. They also had their first Post Kickstarter live stream, where they gave us a tour of the offices and took a lot of questions from the community. On their second live stream, they gave us some more detailed, juicy information on classes and combat. We're going to dive in there. And last but not least, is Ashes of Creation going to be playable at PAX Prime this year in just a couple months? Let's find out. Hey everybody, it's Ziz here, and welcome to the first episode of the Ashes Report, where I keep you up to date on the development of Ashes of Creation. For June 2017, the first thing we're looking at is the summer crowdfunding campaign. They have a video about it on their YouTube, and I'll have a link to this and everything we talk about down in the description below. And they said they're doing it because over 70% of the people who visit their website are from outside the United States and aren't able to participate in Kickstarter because of Kickstarter's billing and payment system. So they opened up a store on their website available to everybody worldwide to buy a package, and you can also upgrade your Kickstarter package as well. This will be available through July 21st. To view the packages, go to ashesofcreation.com and click that store button at the top. It's also going to show you a list of different backer goals. Starting at 1,000 new summer backers, it's going to unlock things like dance emotes and parlor games, and these are available not just to the new backers, but also the existing Kickstarter backers get these rewards as well. Now, the packages are very similar to what we had before. Things like beta and alpha access, name reservation, monster tokens, all that stuff stays the same. The main changes are the prices are more. They have increase in prices, plus there's no early bird specials. Also, anything that said Kickstarter previously is different in the new summer packages. So things like mounts, cosmetic costumes, things like pets, those things are different in the new packages. So for example, the Bravery of Worlds package, the original Kickstarter one had a Dawnbreaker mount, which is this like monkey butterfly thing. The new one has a Pride Stalker epic mount. Now, if you have an original Kickstarter package, but you want one of these new rewards, you do not have to buy an entirely new package. You'll be able to buy those things individually on the store. Now, most of the drama about this is because of the lifetime subscription option that was available supposedly as a Kickstarter exclusive. However, it is also a summer campaign exclusive as well. And a lot of people are concerned because if they're flip-flopping on this already, what else does that mean they're going to change their mind on? They said there would be no pay to win, but is that going to change as well? But for the developers, this really puts them between a rock and a hard place, because their goal is to make the same packages and opportunities available to everybody worldwide. And it's not really fair for them to say, well, you don't live in the US, and so you don't even get a lifetime subscription option. But if they do this, it's kind of like they're lying to the other people who were in part of Kickstarter. So I'm really curious, what do you guys think? Next, we're looking at the first post Kickstarter live stream they did. They said they're going to do 2 per month, and they started this one with a tour around the office, looking at what the devs are working on. This is a new environment, still early work in progress. You can see there's gray boxes, but it looks way different than anything we've seen in the game so far. There's these big jagged rocks and these green pools and these bright trees. It looks really, really great. They also did a whole bunch of Q&A, answering lots of questions. If you want to see all of those, click the link in the description below. Some of the standout questions for me, first, where they talked about caravans, and the developers really put an emphasis on how important these are going to be pretty much to the whole game. They're going to, of course, affect economy, but they're also going to help make nodes, grow those. They're going to be integral to quests that you might want to do, and of course PvP. So it'll be interesting to see how important caravans are to the whole game. They also had a question about the difference between guild halls and castles. Castles, there's 5 static ones in the world at any one time, and they gave a little information. They said those are able to be fought over once per month, and if you control one, they really affect the world around them, whereas opposed to guild halls are kind of like in-node housing, where they don't really affect anything. You can customize it, you can put up guild banners. It's like a meeting place, but other than that, it doesn't really change anything around that. And lastly, they talked about legendary items, and they said they're going to take a lot of effort. It's going to be like this legendary quest line, but not everybody is going to get it, which to me is really awesome, because it's about time legendary items were legendary and unique and rare, as opposed to just a different color that everybody gets. Next, let's talk about the second live stream they did, and this one was really meaty. They started talking about the character creator. They show some screenshots of the different models they're working on. Basically, we're gonna have tons of sliders and have a lot of customization. They said we might also get access to the character creator before the game launches. That way they can do different contests and we can save those templates and use them when the game comes out, which sounds really awesome. And then they jumped into the different classes that they're working on and some of the skills that are available to them. And there's a ton of really good information. I suggest you go check the Q&A. Some of the standouts for me, first they talk about the tank. They have a lasso pole. They can also put up walls, and they said that their skills in PvE and PvP work the same, and they have a lot of control over the battlefield, which sounds great. Also, the cleric, they said, is a master of life, not just a healer, and so they're going to have DPS and heals, and they kind of balance those things out, and so they can balance the life of their group and steal from enemies and give it to their players, which is awesome. Also, they talked about the mage. They have teleports and fireballs like you would expect. The ranger has a minimum bow distance, which I know caused a lot of discussion, but they have dashes and snares and stuff. And every class has different utility skills. So for example, the tank has a perception check. The cleric can cleanse curses in an area. The mage can detect hidden magical things, and then the ranger can detect hidden physical things. And these are utility skills that they can use. They have long cooldowns, but you may be in a place and the ranger can use his utility to see some tracks going towards a wall, and then the mage uses their detect magic, hidden magic, and you see that wall is, not real. And so these sorts of utility things that every class is going to get. Now, they also talked about how their attacks are going to work, as far as just auto attacks aren't going to be boring static press one button over and over. They said during that animation there's going to be certain little windows where you can use additional attacks. So as your character is swinging, at a certain point you can trigger another attack and another attack within that window, which sounds really great because it'd be more interesting and more engaged. But doing those additional combos builds up your ultimate bar, and so the better you are at playing the game and getting in those additional combo attacks, you build up your ultimate bar. And every class is going to have their own different ultimate. So for example, the tank, their ultimate was this giant, they said like a heroic leap smash thing ability where it does a frontal AoE that pulls in all enemies to you. The clerics, their ultimate ability was this like big pulsing AoE that healed the people around you, but also did damage to your enemies. The mages was this like frontal big earthquake thing that does a ton of damage. And then the ranger was this like rain of arrows, tons of arrows, big AoE. And so the combat looks like it's coming together. And last but not least, that's right, Ashes of Creation is going to be at PAX Prime this year. In just 2 months, they're going to be on the main floor and people will get to play the game, which is kind of crazy. Kickstarter just got over and they're already going to have live play sessions. They said there's going to be 2 different experiences. One is PvE, where you're in a group and you're going to be taking a caravan, you're going to see a node progress, you can also go through a dungeon. And then the second experience is going to be a PvP, team versus team sort of battle arena. And these aren't going to have full talent trees and stuff. They're going to be like pre-built kits, but we're going to be able to see the game in action. We're going to see the combat and the progress that they've made. And it's kind of surprising because just in the Kickstarter they had a month ago, they said they didn't want to show combat until they were more confident and it was in a more polished state. And here in just a couple of months, they're going to be on the floor at PAX Prime with people playing the game. This isn't like a review site getting a cherry-picked version of the game. This is going to be real people playing a demo, a small demo, right? A focused demo, but we're going to hear whether it's good or bad straight to the developers' faces. People are going to tell them what they think. So I'm interested to see where this goes, where the progress of the game is at. I'm really excited to see combat in action. They also said they're going to have PAX merchandise as well, which will be available there, and they'll also have some stuff on the store as well. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget the links are in the description, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.